The Kenya Dairy Board is an organization that was established in 1958 through an Act of Parliament, the Dairy Industry Act, Cap 336 of the laws of Kenya. Our vision is to be a world-class dairy regulatory agency. Our mission is to regulate and facilitate a value-driven and sustainable dairy industry. The Citizen Service Delivery Charter represents our commitment to delivering high-quality services to all our stakeholders. We at the Kenya Dairy Board will strive to meet and exceed all our customers' expectations as outlined in our commitments to the dairy industry. Some of the services rendered are response to inquiry or information request, dairy industry statistics, media inquiries, resolutions of complaints, issues of LPOs or contracts, payment to suppliers for goods and services, annual approval of regulatory permits, import or export permits. The request for the response to inquiry information are cooperation and clarity. The charges for these services are free and the timelines are: attention is given within 5 minutes upon a physical visit to KDB offices, acknowledgement of email within 1 working day, response to the inquiry within 2 working days for readily available information, response to the inquiry within 2 weeks on complex issues, 3 rings to respond to a telephone call. Rendering dairy industry statistics requires cooperation and clarity. It is free of charge and the timelines are within 5 working days. Media inquiries require cooperation and clarity. It is free of charge and the timelines are 2 working days from the receipt of the inquiry. Resolution of complaints require presentation of complaints. It is free of charge and timelines are receipt acknowledgement within 2 working days, resolutions within 2 working days if the information is readily available. However, an alternate requirement for the resolution of complaints is a recommendation by Commission on Admission Justice (CAJ). The charges are free and the timeline is establishing a resolution within 3 weeks if research and consultation are required. Issuance of LPOs/contracts. Issuance of LPOs or contracts requires a quotation or tender bids. It is free of charge and the timeline is 7 working days after award. Payment to suppliers for goods and services requires the following: contracts or local purchase order, delivery note invoice, inspection report. It is free of charge and the timeline is within 30 days upon receipt of invoices. Annual approval of regulatory permit requires one to prepare the premises to meet inspection standards. The application fee is free of charge. The next step is to request the premises to be inspected by a KDB compliance officer. The regulatory permit fee for processor handling above 20,000 liters per day is 50,000 Kenya shillings and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirements. The inspection is conducted upon receipt of the application notice and is accompanied by the fees specified. The regulatory permit fee for a processor handling below 20,000 liters per day in this case is 25,000 shillings. The timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. Upon successful inspection, the board will grant or renew or transfer a regulatory permit. The milk bar permit is free and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. Upon successful inspection, the board will grant or renew or transfer a regulatory permit. For the milk bar permit, this is free and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. The mini dairy permit is free and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirements. The dairy produce dispenser permit fee is free and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. The cottage industry permit fee is free and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. The cooling plant permit fee for a plant operating below 5,000 liters is free and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. Import or export permits requires payments to the Kenya Dairy Board. The regulatory permit for importers is an annual fee of 100,000 and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. The regulatory permit for exporters is an annual fee of 1,000 shillings and the timeline is within 7 working days upon meeting the requirement. KenTrade System document processing fee has the application fee of 1,000 Kenya shillings per consignment. Another requirement for import or export permits is an online application to DVS for a health certificate. Apply through KenTrade Systems. The export permit fee is 1,000 Kenya shillings per consignment, whereas the import permit fee is 5,000 shillings per consignment. Each of the permits requires a timeline of 4 working days on receipt of the online application. Consult the board for more information.